Hi guys! So it's day 5 and I'm sitting here waiting for my hair to dry so that we can go out the door. So let's talk about brain filtering. I posted this question yesterday to get you thinking about this sensory gating is what it is. And what it is our neurological process of filtering redundant, unnecessary stimuli in the brain from all possible environmental stimuli. So if you think about right now, you're on Facebook watching me, and so there's a ton of things going on Facebook. But your brain, if you're watching me, is able to say, hey, I just want to watch Barbara. And so a giant gorilla could march past you and you're not going to see it because you're gating this, you're filtering this. And so think of this as our algorithm. So when you click on a news story, your news feed suddenly becomes filled with those types of stories just because it determines that this is what you want to see. So if you click on a story about a parent abusing a child, suddenly your news feed is filled with stories of abuse. If you click on something about a car crash, suddenly your news feed is filled up with all of these stories about car crashes to read. Or when you like someone's post on Facebook, and then you're only ever seeing their post on Facebook. This brain filtering is set up to prevent an overload of the irrelevant information that's in our higher cortical centers in the brain. So the reason I posed this question to you is because what is in your life today that is being filtered in or filtered out, but maybe filtered in because of the negative energy? So, think about that. Negative energy that you wish you could just Control Alt Delete on, but however, the truth is you can. You get to be in control of this brain filtering because you get to decide based on the way that you simplify and function in your life. So first thing is gratitude. So by having gratitude in our life, then we start looking for more things to be grateful for. By clicking on news stories that elevate your gratitude, by clicking on news stories that make you want to go out and do something to become grateful for, then you start getting more news stories like that. When someone posts something that is really motivating to you, then you can go ahead and say, I like this Facebook post. This one offers me this sense of enlightening and of just elevated consciousness. Let's call it elevated consciousness, to become grateful. Like yesterday I said, you have a choice that you can make, and you get to remake your choices every 10 seconds. Well, you get to remake gratitude every 10 seconds as well. That's a choice. So what happens if you start bringing in more gratitude into your life? The same thing goes for if we think about wellness. So when you are focusing, so let's say you're on a diet and you're focusing on all the things that you really cannot eat. All of a sudden, that's all you're focusing on is all of the things you cannot eat. And so then you're told, you need to buy, this specific, Oliver, no bark, lay down. So then you are told that you want to, here, I'll teach you guys a trick. This is another trick to elevate because you don't want to be annoyed by your dog that is barking. So, okay, Google, play relaxation therapy music.
playing relaxing music.
There we go.
Play music.
So now my dog is going to listen to relaxation therapy music instead of annoying the crud out of me. I have gratitude for that. So back to nutrition and wellness. So you start focusing on, I cannot eat carbs. Suddenly, you're not focusing on all of the other anti-nutrients that are going into your body. All you're focusing on is, I cannot eat carbs. So then, what happens with food is the more you focus inward, the less nutrients you get. And it's kind of like this cycle. I mean, if you think about being able to be aware of gratitude, if you feel like crud, can you have that gratitude? I don't think so. I don't think you can if you feel like garbage. And so what happens when we absorb nutrients? What happens when we get what our body was built for? Remember, this body was built for you, but they're all kind of like we're on a little machine. We went to... now I can't even remember. The pop things, the little guys with the giant heads. Why can I suddenly not remember that name? Anyway, we went to their... What is it? I can't hear you. Oh, that's right, Funko. We went to Funko Pop, to their store. And they actually have this little thing that shows, like this little machine. It's rolling the little thing past with all the Funkos on them. I mean, they're glued on there, but it's kind of like giving you the idea of the Funkos are being all of them are coming out. Well, that's kind of bodies. Like, there's different DNA. Like, I have blue eyes, you may have brown eyes. I have brown hair, you may have blonde hair. You know, I have an MTHFR mutation, you may have something different. But in reality, we were kind of made to eat nutrition. We were not made to eat boxes of anti-nutrition. And so by filtering, you're just losing out. That's one of the greatest awareness items that I've had since I started this, because a lot of this nutrition stuff started for me when I joined this fitness company. And I joined this fitness company and I started drinking their shake because it was just packed full of nutrients. But it wasn't packed full of food necessarily. And so I started drinking this, and it actually wasn't bad, and it had some good support system items that I obviously needed. And then they had all this science clinical research lined up. And if you know me, you know that I geek out about the clinical. However, then they changed their formula. And then they changed their formula. And then they changed their formula. And it didn't work for me. And so then it was really interesting because I didn't realize I had gotten sucked into this brain filtering. And it was being told to me. I mean, I love their fitness products, to my soul. But when you're doing a workout and you're being told, hey, all my friends are here, so if your friends aren't here and they aren't doing it, you need to get new friends. Boom, filters. It's like the horse walking with blinders on. All of a sudden, you now are lacking in the type of community that is beneficial for having a healthy, happy life. So after I kind of, broke down all of the sort of almost like brainwashing, I started really getting into this idea of food is the nutrients. The first nutritional biochemist that I connected with Franco Cavallari. He really taught me about the differences between something that is denatured and undenatured, and how much of an impact that has on your nutrition. And so all that means is, was it cooked on the high heat, or was it low, cold processed? And that makes a big difference, because when you buy something from the store, do you have any idea what the temperature was that they had created that at? So do you know what nutrient levels are actually left in that food? So that was important. He also really tuned me into the supportive anti-inflammatory herbs. And so that was a really big thing to realize, that those micronutrients in these whole foods really facilitate these body processes. And then he turned me on to antioxidants and like glutathione and all of this. And so I'm really, really thankful for him. However, things change, as they always do. Okay, Google, turn the volume down to 2. I don't know. I'm turning that down just because sometimes if there's music, that might still be too loud. Okay, Google, turn the volume down to 9%. Hopefully that's enough for the dogs. Sometimes if there's music in the background, Google will say, oh, that's a royalty, or not Google, but Facebook will say, that's a royalty issue right here, and they'll mute you. And I don't want them to mute this, because I think it's important that you hear these things. So anyway, things changed. And as these things were changing, my business was changing. And as you know, I just wrote this book about aromatherapy and the safety of aromatherapy, and how to use essential oils in elevating your conscious, and chakras and biofields, and the safety of essential oils and all of that. And so I had gotten into essential oils. But one thing that I will say is that I love essential oils, and there's about a handful of companies that I will get essential oils for. But essential oils as a business model, from every organization that I've actually looked at, that is lame. They suck. Unless you are a just 24/7 recruiter getting people to buy between $100 to $200 worth of oils every month, you're not going to make any money. And you have to order the oils as well. And I'm sorry, but a little tiny bottle of oil with 250 drops, that lasts you a long time. You just need one drop. One drop is very powerful. So anyway, you can walk into any room in my house and you're going to find essential oils. But again, filtering. What's important to me? It's not important to me to live a life of pushiness. It's not important to me to live this life where I am focused in on numbers and quotas and dollars, and it wasn't what worked for me energetically. And so I started really delving into a lot of this mindfulness and more into the nutrition, and I was trying to work on healing my daughter, and I was trying to work on it with nutrition. And filtering. When you are filtering, you are open and aware. And so through filtering, I met this amazing woman, and I was open. I was open to talking to this woman, and she had 2 kids, and we started hanging out, and we started to go into parks together, and it was like just a real blessing for me, because we had just moved here, and I really didn't have a lot of people to hang out with. And back in Utah, I didn't have a lot of peeps that I was talking to, and I was kind of like at this crossroads. And so because of her and because of this awareness that I was open to talking to this strange woman in the coffee shop and hanging out with her, her ND invited them to come listen to an ND that was coming in from California to speak. And so I went there and I met nutritional biochemist number 2. And when I met nutritional biochemist number 2, then I got the idea of how I had been brain filtering out the possibilities of nutrition. And what I mean by that is that, these encapsulated, raw, low temperature foods, whole foods, seeds, pills, all of that. I had done all of this reading online. Now, algorithms, so when you put in such and such scam, such and such bad, when you've been going to the same negative type websites again and again, when you go research something, that's what Google is going to give you. And so what I had been told, and I had said no year after year after year. In fact, one of my essential oil friends, I know, actually had approached me with that, and I was like, oh, that is bad news. No, I'm not doing that. No, And so I sat down after this meeting. I watched this gal, and I think this is important too, because this kind of shows up what filtering can impact in your life. So this woman had gotten up to talk, and she had showed like her before picture and how she had just gotten into this for her husband's nutritional health and wellness. And then she said, a couple months after starting this, I got pregnant. And I looked at this woman's before, and I looked at her after, and I looked at her skin now. And when I looked at her skin, because your skin, when your body's not working functionally, then your body starts using what's called the secondary chimney to push out toxins, and that is your skin. And if you have methylation issues, your body likes to use your secondary chimney. And so her skin, she was a fitness trainer as well, and her skin, she was tight and tiny, but her skin was a mess. You can be tight and tiny, and you can be unaware, and you can be just a wreck. So anyway, short story that's become a long story is that I kind of put all the pieces of the puzzle together and realized that, oh my gosh, she has the same genetic mutation that I have, and that my daughter has, and that my husband has, and that my family has. And I realized that getting the micronutrients is probably what corrected her system and allowed her to get pregnant, because they had been trying forever and it had not happened. And then suddenly this just happened. So I talked to nutritional biochemist number 2, and she's like, oh, that's pretty spot on. I am kind of shocked that you picked up on that. And so I decided right then that, I want to see what this does for my daughter. And since if I order for me that I can get it for free for her, then I'm going to just do that and try it. Why not? And I loved it. I wish I could go back in time and be aware and have done this years before when it was first proposed to me, because as a lot of you know, I have just one. My daughter is my one and only, and I am grateful for her, and I love her, and she brings me all the love and joy that anyone could ask for in life. But she doesn't have a sibling. I am 50. She is 13. There will be a day that will come that I will not be around, and she will not have a sibling to back her up, to stand her up, to love her and cherish her and laugh with her and talk about when she was little. So I have made it my purpose to make sure that she has many wonderful friends that are like siblings that she will have in her court when she is older. And we've made a deal. I can't die until I'm at least 100. So, I've got some time left. But if I could go back to unfiltering and have been aware and have been open, that could be different. And so that's really why I am so just crazy about getting people to be aware of the fact that you are brain filtering all the time. If you cannot leave your job at the door when you go home, you're going to brain filter on all of that mess. If you cannot look for things that are going to bring you gratitude and hope and love, you're not going to have that. You're going to have despair and sorrow and anger and hatred. If you cannot focus in on looking at just all the good things in life, you are filtering yourself into a place that's not going to be helpful for you in the long run. It's like when you're filtering on not having enough money. And so you tell yourself all the time, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I don't have enough. And then you don't have enough. So you have to tell yourself, I am enough. There will always be enough. It will always come to me when I need it. I am a creator. I can create as much money as I need to take care of everything that I need in life. And the truth is that you can. And the truth is that that is one lesson that my mother taught me. She taught me the power of awareness in money. Now, as Generation 2.0, I'm taking it further and realizing that there's not a ceiling. You don't have to cap it. You don't have to have just enough to get by. And that's a big difference. But so, here we are, day 5. And this is really about so much more. It is about opening your awareness and about making sure that you are filtering in the right direction. So let me know what you think about that. Let me know where you're having filtering issues, and let's see what we can do about that. So, I've got to run because I've got to finish hair and head out and go grab my husband. And I really think that big picture is that it is very easy in this day and age to filter into the negative. But it's also very simple. That's why we're doing the simplicity shred. It is very simple to pick different filters, and that is your choice. All of life is a choice. So pick different filters and let me know how that goes. So I will talk to you soon. Bye.